One is left on red, one is straight through red, and one is right on red. The left on red and the straight on red, there's very little discretion, right? There's certain statutory exceptions to that. And if you don't fall under one of those, I really don't have any discretion. It's going to be a violation. I have a little more discretion on red, right on red, which is the careful and prudent standard. Generally, we look at things like speed, what the conditions of the road are, and a variety of other things. So just keep that in mind before we get started. We're going to get started very shortly.
Go swear him in.
Excuse me.
Can you see up here on the big screen?
Go swear him in.
No, I'm not, I haven't even gone through it.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting. Yeah.
Because I've paid these in the past. And that's, and if you can you keep playing it? Yeah. I just want to see something here. See how far these other cars are behind. I know it doesn't, like you just said, it doesn't have very much units in it. See how much time is going by? And these guys here will have. That's because they still have a rework. No, I'm talking about behind me. They're about to show up in a second. There they are. That's the timing issue that I have a problem. What do you mean? Well, you glance up at the light, you're in that no man's land, and you're traveling. That's a 45-mile-an-hour street. You're traveling at 45 miles an hour, and you glance up. You're in a rental car, and you got people behind you. And you go, okay, it's yellow, and you go, and oh crap, it just turned red. Well, it was red, like I said, for 48 seconds. So yellow means caution.
It's just the ones that are being presented.
Yeah, and you can see, I started to, but then just don't want to slam on the flipping brakes and do that. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do, stay consistent.
And then last thing first, right? In the time, right? Here, reopen so on clear. That way we can have a fresh start when it begins.
If you want to do that, you can go, yep, see those.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Thanks for going through it. I appreciate it, because that kind of sounded like it here.
Case number.
I know, a lot of people think by the naked eye, you're like, I didn't run that, but once we break it down for you.
You don't have to.
You're welcome, have a good day.
Yep. Okay, that's where you're at. Summary. Hello.
So I have to sign it. Oh, there's a microphone.
Hey. Okay. So here.
Everybody knows what you're saying.
This is John Pierce. He's signing summary disposition.
When I watched it on my laptop, that's why the whole reason I came out. Oh, yes.
Look different. You can get here.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a signature and an active phone number there for you, please, on the bottom. And if the address where you received this is not a good address, I need your new address printed on the bottom as well.
Are you kidding me? I've always seen that thing.
Thank you so much. You'll get a new notice in the mail. You're good to go today? Nope. Get a new notice in the mail. Did you both get that?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Pierce, did you want your paper? You don't have to have it. I can toss it. Okay.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is the City of Lakeland Red Light Hearings. I am the hearing officer and an attorney, Matt Vaughn. I am not a circuit judge or a county judge like you'll find in Bartow. I'm simply the hearing officer here today. You're here because you have chosen to appeal or contest your notice of violation you received in the mail. So my job is to determine whether an infraction occurred, and if an infraction did occur, was it justified? And as I talked about a little bit before, the violations are broken down in three categories. One is right on red, one is left on red, and one is straight through. Again, the left on red and the straight throughs, unless you satisfy one of the statutory exemptions, I have very little discretion. So you can make your argument And if you want to make that argument, that's fine, but I'm going to be looking for very specific things in that argument. But on right on red, you're going to be held to the careful and prudent standard, which there's a little more discretion on that. And we'll look at various factors on the video and the testimony of the officers to my left, to your right, and determine whether you met the careful and prudent standard. If you have questions of law, such as whether the statute is unjust or unconstitutional, I just don't have the power to rule on it. You can, again, make the argument. I don't have any authority to make any decisions based on that. That's something you'll probably have to take to the circuit court. As far as the fines go, there's a statutory fine for a violation of $158. And the statutes also allow the city of Lakeland to levy an additional administrative fee of up to $250. If you're not successful today, we generally limit that to $100. If you want a payment extension, you can speak to the city clerk and request additional time. And I believe there's an administrative fee of $12.50, and you'll have 60 days to pay. So if you just want the extra time, if that's what you're looking for, then they can help you out here off to my left. These are not moving violations. There's no points assessed. It should not have an effect on your insurance or driver's license. However, it will follow the registration on your vehicle. So whoever that vehicle is registered to, when you go back, if you don't pay the fine, you go back to register your vehicle, you're probably not going to be able to register your vehicle without paying it. So it doesn't follow your insurance, it doesn't follow your driver's license, but it will follow the registration. There's no transfers of liability during that hearing, and I know that's a term of art, sort of, but transfers of liability are basically when you say, I wasn't driving, yes, the car is registered to me, but no, I wasn't driving, somebody else was driving. That is waived once you show up here today. There is a process on the notice of violation where you can follow and file an affidavit saying somebody else was driving, and that needs to be turned in before you show up here today. So there's no transfers of liability once you show up. Any arguments that you did not get proper notice are waived once you elect to show up here today for obvious reasons. And you can appeal any finding here today to the circuit court. I would encourage you to seek legal advice before doing that, but anything that's done here today can be appealed, and I would talk to an attorney, but you can do it on your own if you want to do that. The format is the city will go first and put on its evidence of the violation, which hopefully both of you guys have already seen. So that's going to consist of photos, videos, other information potentially. And then after the city presents, you're free to what's called cross-examine, but question the officers if you have any questions for them. And then once you complete that, then you can proceed with your case and make your arguments or present your evidence, whatever the case may be. This is an administrative hearing, so there is a little more evidentiary leeway, but due process considerations dictate that the hearing be run in a fair and equitable manner. At this time, we're getting ready to, are you here for the red light hearings? Okay, so I'm gonna finish my sort of intro, but in the meantime, just to give you the Cliff Notes version, 3 types of red lights, violations: straight through, left on red, right on red. Left on red, straight through is very little discretion, right? So you have to meet certain statutory exceptions, and if you don't meet those, it's going to be a violation. Right on red, there's more discretion. While we're kind of finishing this up, and we'll wait for you, but I would go review the photos and videos that they're going to put on, and then you can kind of get a more of an educated decision on whether to go forward with the case, and I'm going to finish up with my intro. In just a moment, after this gentleman reviews the evidence, we're going to swear everybody in that's going to be testifying, so that's going to be the officers and both of you sitting in front of me. Once you're sworn in, if you decide not to go forward, there will be a $50 cancellation fee. And I'm not trying to dissuade you, just letting you know sort of the way this is going to be run. So we'll wait for him, and then at that point, we're going to swear you in. So if any point, once you're sworn in, there will be a cancellation fee. So you have a few minutes to think about that.
Go to the video. Show the video.
I slowed down specifically to see at the time because they're not having time to get to that's why I'm pretty much safe.
I mean, it's up to you.
Either we're still in additional time. Either way, they won't hurt me to talk about it, so.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
say.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, all right. So we're gonna go with the,
Okay, we're getting ready to swear everybody in. I don't know if you caught the end, but once you're sworn in, if you decide not to go forward, there will be a cancellation fee. $158 statutory fine is what we're talking about here. The statutes do allow the city to levy an additional fine of up to $250 should you lose, not prevail here today. Generally, that's kept to $100. Let's go ahead. I think we're ready to swear everybody in.
Yeah, if you have the case today, if you could just stand and raise your right hand. Thank you.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
yes, I did.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Uh-oh. Red light hearings? Okay, so we're getting ready to get started, but I'm going to give you the really quick Cliff Notes version, okay, of what's going to happen here today. And we can probably wait very briefly so she can review the evidence, but I've kind of gone through the spiel, but the basics are there are three types of red light violations: straight throughs, right on red, and then left on reds. As everybody here has probably heard a couple times, but left on red and straight throughs, I have very little discretion. So you basically have to meet one of the statutory exceptions. Generally has to do with law enforcement waving you through, or funeral procession, something like that. But with right on reds, I have a little more discretion. It's careful and prudent standard. You look at various factors. There's a bunch of factors that will be looked at, including one of the main ones being speed, that you're going through the intersection when you're going right, and traffic conditions, things like that. But you can review the evidence with the officers really quick while we get started with some others. Well, I guess we can't get started, can we? So go ahead and come up here and review the evidence that they're going to put forward.
I did review it already. I was in a hospital at this time.
Okay, do you have, what do you mean you're in the hospital?
I was in the hospital. I was taken to the hospital on emergency. I had an infection after the surgery.
Do you have any documentation
Yeah.
that you could provide?
I was looking through my medical records. I was trying to pull the admission paperwork up, but I can definitely get it. I was here at Lakeland Regional.
I think what we're gonna have to do is maybe, when we have our hearings, when she comes forward, then it might be a situation where we'd ask to continue it.
Yeah.
Continue it.
That's
I
the-
agree.
What's your last name, ma'am?
Davis, and I don't live in the state anymore.
Where do you live?
California. They
Goodness.
told me I couldn't do anything online, and I figured I had some other unfinished business here, so I figured I'd just push
Davis.
everything together.
Are you the one that won the Powerball?
No, I was.
Just kidding.
Can we do hers first and let's,
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's,
so
Yeah,
let-
let's-
can we get you to raise your right hand and we'll swear you
yeah,
in
I'll
real
swear you
quick?
in the way.
Stand up.
Just stand up if you can. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. If you want to come back up here and have a seat, or either wherever you're comfortable at the podium.
You can leave all that right there. Yeah.
Do you know whether yours is a straight through or a right on red?
It's a straight through.
I think it's a straight
It's a straight through.
Yeah. What's
So-
your last name?
Let's go ahead and call the case.
Yeah.
Read it to the record.
Yes. So you just want me to go through it like normal, or?
Yes. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You ready? Okay, Officer Scott, Lakeland Police Department, for the record, along with my Sergeant, Sergeant Mumbar, working the computer for me. Okay, this case is going to be 124-2200-153317. Last name is Davis. Violation occurred July 19th of 2022 at 12:33 a.m. Violation is on a 2017 Ford black and color with a Florida registration. Go to the tag. Yep, right there. Florida registration of India Uniform November Papa 56. That's IUNP 56, as you see here in the first still photo. As we go to the second still photo, this is going to be a straight-through violation. It occurred northbound North Florida Avenue at Memorial Boulevard. The light was yellow for 4.5 seconds, and it was red for an additional 0.8 seconds. You can see here where the get to the previous. Yep, you can see here where the vehicle's before the white stop bar. And as we go to the third still photo, you can see where it has entered the intersection to proceed through the intersection, and we'll go to the video. Turns red, and they proceed through the intersection. We'll play it again for you. So it's yellow, turns red, and they proceed through the intersection.
Okay, Ms. Davis, now it's your turn, and I know there's some strange circumstances here, but can you just kind of give me the rundown? So you moved out of state to California.
Yes,
When did you move?
I moved at the beginning of August. When I was released from the hospital, my doctor recommended that I get somewhere where my family could help me. So I had some necrosis of my skin. That's like death of tissue. And so I needed to be around family in case any other emergencies happened, and I didn't have any family here, so it was an emergency move.
So were you on your way to the hospital when this?
No, I was already admitted into the hospital.
Okay.
So the situation is I had a roommate and some other people who were at my house, boyfriend, his friends. I don't know who this is in my car. I was rushed to the hospital, like I said, after I had a surgery. So, and I was not in my car when I was taken to the hospital. So I didn't take myself to the hospital. I was rushed to the hospital. So again, I have no idea who was in my car.
So one thing that we went through before was transfers of liability. So that means somebody else was driving. Generally, you have on your notice of violation, it says you have to follow a certain process if that's what you want to do. And that involves just signing a one-page affidavit saying, I wasn't driving, but so-and-so was driving. And then they come in and answer for the red light ticket, because one of the things you have to realize is it doesn't follow your driver's license. So it's not like you get points. It doesn't follow usually it doesn't affect your insurance, but it will affect the registration of your vehicle. So when you go to re-register, if you're here in Florida, if you go to re-register it, you'll have to pay for that before you're able to re-register it. Now, if you're not going to re-register in Florida, I don't know what happens, right? So if one thing we would usually, when we have somebody come in and say, either I had an emergency, I was on my way to the hospital, or I was in the hospital, we recognize that's sort of an emergent circumstance generally, especially if you get admitted. There has to be a reason you get admitted.
Yeah.
Usually they bring in documentation from the Lakeland Regional or Bartow or wherever the case may be that shows, hey, I was in the hospital during this time. And usually what we would do is continue the hearing, allow you to go out and get that, and then you would come back with the documentation, and then when we see it, we would make a decision on whether to just dismiss the case. Given that, are you able, if we continued this for 30 days or 60 days, are you planning on coming back to Florida?
After this, no. I was trying to get all of my stuff handled while I'm here this occasion.
Okay.
So I can submit that. I can send it in if possible, if I can do it by mail. I even have something showing where I was admitted on the 14th. I was looking for something showing the date that I was released.
And this violation happened on the 19th, July 19th? Or 14th?
Can't see that far.
I can't do that.
It's the 19th.
19th. So you were still in the hospital on the 19th?
I was still in the hospital.
Okay.
I was in the hospital for a little over a week.
Well, I think the best thing to do is for you to go get that documentation while you're here, and perhaps we can get together with the officers over here. If you can I think email is the best way to do it, if you can scan that in.
Yeah, I can
and
do that.
email it, and assuming that it says what you say it says, I would recommend that the case be dismissed.
Okay.
Because I think that's as good as an affidavit, because you got proof that you couldn't have driven the car because you're in the hospital, right?
Exactly.
So, and given the fact that you're out of state, I don't know that's going to affect you're not going to try to re-register your vehicle in Florida anyway.
No.
So just given the strange circumstances with you moving to California and everything, I think that's how I want to handle it. Is that something that we can do?
I think you just have to continue it.
Okay, so technically we're going to continue it, but you don't have to come back as long as you send the documentation, and
Okay.
then the officers will look at it. If it shows you're in the hospital during that time, I would recommend the case be dismissed, that the officers dismiss the
Okay,
case.
and I can get that today.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and get with them before you leave, and make
Okay.
sure you have contact information?
Okay.
Yeah, I can give her my email address and she can just
Okay.
email it to me.
Yeah.
And I
Is that,
can review it.
is that something you can do?
Yeah, because I can go to records. They have a digital format, but like I said, I was trying to get it out of my email, but I have so many emails from all of my charts that I was trying to sort through it, and it was just a lot, so.
Absolutely. So go do that today or tomorrow before you leave, and then you'll get a notice in the mail.
Okay,
Okay?
Okay.
Make sure they have your updated address in California too.
absolutely.
Okay.
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 All right,
Thank you.
Check in this drawer, see if they have, or in there, and see if there's
I
anything.
have a piece of paper if you need that. Sorry.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you my email address. You're gonna have to email all these documents to me, and then I can email you that.
Are we gonna be continuing to the next red light camera hearing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That is December 14th, just in case anybody needs to know that.
Alright, you too. Okay, we ready?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go with Dwayne Gashina.
I always say Seth. It's easier to say.
Right here.
What about
Dwayne Nicholas Gashina.
Nikia Brooks?
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry?
I have Nikia Brooks first. Does,
Oh.
Wait,
He was here first.
okay.
before- Yeah.
Well, we can go that order.
Okay, this is violation number 1242200142286. It's going to be a transfer, a violation. It was transferred to him. So violation occurred July 3rd of 2022 at 8:26 a.m. Violation is on a 2014 Honda gray in color with Florida registration of Delta Golf Tango Lima 41. That's DGTL 41, as you see here in the first still photo. As we go to the second still photo. It's going to be a straight-through violation. It occurred southbound Cleveland Heights Boulevard at East Edgewood Drive. The light was yellow for 4.1 seconds, and it was red for an additional 0.5 seconds. And in this still photo, you can see where the vehicle is before the white stop bar, and you can see that the light is red above. And as we go to the third still photo, you can see where the vehicle has entered the intersection, and we will play the video. Mind you, the vehicle, the speed here, the speed limit is 35 and it was doing 53.
Can we slow it
As
down a
it
little bit?
proceeds on through the intersection. And let me,
You said you want to slow down?
you want to slow it down?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that thing's go zipping through there.
So this will be at quarter speed. Oh, half speed, sorry.
There we go. Yeah, okay. We have a straight-through violation.
So let me add this. This is a transfer violation from the registered owner to this gentleman. I have the transfer here, a copy of it. Just let me add, she says, see enclosed photos from Ring camera and my cell phone camera placing me at home a few minutes before and after the red light camera captured the vehicle going through the intersection. And she also sent in photos, what appears to be her, like in her backyard on her Ring camera, given the date and time. So,
Can I see the copy of the affidavit that you have there?
yes.
Put that up. Is there any way to put that up on that page up on the projectors?
They're so funny.
I don't know that this one necessarily helps us. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Do you want it on the screen? I'll help you.
So we're going to put it looks like there's a valid transfer of liability. It's been notarized and
I know-
sworn to.
I know dispute, I'm not disputing that.
Okay, you're not disputing that part of it?
Definitely not.
Okay, well, we don't have to worry about it. I don't think he's going to dispute
No, I'm
that
not
part of
disputing that at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm not disputing the video either.
it. So here today,
No,
you
but
were the
I
one
just-
driving?
No, I'm not said it either. I still only have my chance at
Okay.
defending myself. I'm still innocent until proven guilty, ain't I?
Hang on one sec. Okay, so Mr.
Call me Smith, Kashina, just kidding.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, Mr. Gashna,
Yep.
you've seen the evidence put forth, the vehicle, there's been what appears to be on its face a valid transfer of liability, so I'll let you argue your position.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. I'm not sure how to address you. I'm not sure to address you, Your Honor. I'm not sure.
No, just Mr. Vaughn, I mean, that's fine.
Okay, I've never been to court before. If you check my driver's record, I don't have a ticket in my life yet. But on August, my wife got the ticket, and she got it in the mail, and she says, well, I wasn't driving. She said, you were? I said, oh, yeah, sure. So she checked out the ring camera, and she was right. I had the vehicle. So on August 26th, I got the red light low notice. I tried contacting the city of Lakeland and P.O. Box 22091 in Tempe, Arizona, via email. I tried a phone. I get a robotic call. And on the back of the ticket, it indicates you must be the registered owner of the vehicle to discuss this violation, which is kind of, you give me the ticket, and you're not saying I cannot discuss this ticket because I'm not the registered owner. I'm not sure if that's fair. Then because I had some questions, I wanted to see a clear image of the video of the driver. So I'm going to ask the officer a question. Can you give me a clear video of the driver of the vehicle? I mean,
You have to answer verbally.
No.
This is what would be considered cross-examination.
No, he can't give me any extra information, correct?
No.
Okay. So what happened was I was in the Middle East for 8 years. I do have a head injury.
You were what for 8
I was in the Middle East for
Okay.
8 years as the anti-terrorist unit with the Magog
Yeah.
unit in Israel. And I had a injury in my head. I have a dent in my head. And I have my memory's not always good. My wife knows that. Don't ask me what happened last month because I don't really know. So I went golfing and, hold it for a sec. I went golfing with my friends. And the reason I know I went golfing with my friends, I had to check my credit card statements. And based on my credit card statements, I get to basically find out what I was doing that day to help my memory, if I can. So I went golfing, and a lot of times, a group of my friends, we pick each other up, and we take each other golfing. A lot of times, they don't want me to drive. They'll drive my car instead of me because I have an issue with texting and driving. A lot of times, they get embarrassed because I'll say, I'm not sure if you heard from yell out, get off your cell phone, save a life. I yell that out all the time. I say, get off your cell phones, you might drive better. Because there's so many people on cell phones, it just drives me nuts. And I got rear-ended when I first moved to Lakeland by my Harley, and I'm just tired of cell phones. So they decide, hey, do you mind if I drive? I said, I don't care if you drive or not. So based on this, I'm not sure if I was driving. I can't say if I was. I can't say if I wasn't. I could be my friend of mine. I don't know. So let me see here. So I'm not just disputing what the officer is saying to you on the video or my wife is saying on her affidavit. I'm just saying I'm not sure who was driving.
So who is, Rachel Harris is your wife?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Do you have any kids in the house?
No.
Okay, so it's just you two that live
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
house?
Yes, sir.
Are you still married to her?
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you know why she would transfer liability to you rather than
Well,
you guys
the thing
are
is,
still married?
I never had a ticket, so she's like, yeah, you're going to finally get a ticket. So, and I thought it was on a point system. So it's usually a traffic incident is on a point system. She got a couple of speeding tickets, and I thought it was a standard traffic court. But I find out now it's not really a traffic court.
Yeah, so this isn't there should be no points, okay?
Yeah, that's what the
It
officer
doesn't
said
follow
earlier.
your license, it follows your registration,
Yeah.
so, or her registration, whoever the car's registered to. So it's just registered to her and not you jointly or you?
No, she's on everything. She's on all the records.
Okay.
It has to do with my past with the anti-terrorist unit.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, yeah, I was probably at least in the car that day.
I was in the car, yes, sir.
Because,
I'm
and,
not sure if I was driving though.
and I can't remember if I was driving, because my golfing buddies sometimes tell me that they want to drive because I'm a careless driver, right?
I yell at drivers, get off your cell phone, because I don't like people texting and driving.
Okay, so, are you done with, first of all, before I make findings, are you done?
Yeah, I just want, yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, so this was a pretty flagrant violation because, just from the speed, but you ran straight through.
Not me, you say me, I ran straight through.
But you don't know who it was. You were at
You
least in the
can't say I
car.
was, because I'm still innocent till you're proven guilty. You
Right.
didn't prove that I was driving.
You have another transfer of liability affidavit with you here today.
Car is, I'm not going to go put my friends up because you guys can't prove who was driving. I thought this court of law of the United States, which I was in the Middle East fighting for, is that we are innocent until proven guilty, aren't we? Aren't we innocent until proven guilty? You could charge a car. I don't mind you charging a car. The car could be guilty. Well, you can't say you're guilty or somebody's guilty with you without proof. How
Okay.
can you charge something or somebody without proof?
I hear you, but you didn't follow the transfer of liability procedure on the notice of violation.
I'm not the registered owner of the vehicle.
I understand that, but somebody else has said you were driving. They followed the
And
proper
thing is,
procedure.
I can't say, yeah, you were driving. I can't say I was driving. I don't know. So how can I transfer liability? So we're going to pass it buck down the line until somebody pays?
Well,
Is this a money grab?
So here's the way it works. There was a valid transfer of liability
Yeah.
saying you were driving. You're telling me here today, I was at least in the car, but I don't know if I was driving because I might have been on a golfing trip with my buddies.
No, I was not going on a golfing trip with my buddies. That's not contention. I went to a golfing trip with my buddies. Sometimes they drive, sometimes I drive.
Right.
I'm not sure if I was driving or not.
Right, and I understand that, but you show up here today and you don't have, that's why we have a transfer of liability procedure, because then you have the opportunity to say, I wasn't driving, so-and-so was driving, if you
I
followed
cannot
the.
say that as, I can't say an affidavit by law and put myself potentially in harm's way because I can't say 100%. I was driving or I wasn't driving.
Okay,
So you're telling me to break the law to transfer to somebody else?
So the way that's going to work then is, do you have any more arguments to
No,
make
no,
before I
you
make
tell me
mine?
to break, no, the thing is, I thought it was innocent until proven guilty. And if you just say, yes, I am guilty for this fact because somehow there's potential there, I would like to have the person that rear-ended me on my Harley back in 2017. She got out of the vehicle on the passenger side at mid-Florida. Then they caught her on video going into a car on the gas station on the corner. The police would not give me her information to sue her personally because they can't prove she was driving. Based on this, I want the city of Lakeland to disclose that information to me.
Disclose what information?
That who was driving that car that rear-ended my motorcycle.
Okay,
I had to sue the car. I couldn't sue the person.
okay, so I'm confused as to whether it's,
Well,
you're
you're
talking,
saying-
hang on. I'm confused as to whether you're talking about the 2017 incident or
Yeah,
this incident.
well, the thing is, it's apples to apples. You're saying I can be charged and held accountable for this incident without you proving me driving. So therefore, you should give me the information of the lady that rear-ended my Harley in 2017. It's apples to apples. You can't say it's good for one and not good for the other.
Okay, so there's two sort of separate things. I think that's a 119 request that we
That's
need
a
to.
public records request that you could certainly make to the city with regard to the other incident,
Okay,
but
because the
not
officer
related
said
to
I couldn't get
this.
that
Yeah, it's
information
not
because
related
they
to
can't
this.
prove that she was driving.
So
So now
there-
you're saying I can.
Well, hang on. So you can make what's called a Chapter 119 public information
Mm-hmm.
request to the city. And if they have information regarding that 2017 incident, they will provide it to you, assuming it doesn't fall into one of the exceptions for public records. But that's a separate.
But it's a precedent, so you can charge a person that you can't prove there's driving, but you can protect a person that rear-ended somebody because you can't prove she was driving.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't do both sides of the law. I mean, you're innocent or you're guilty, one of the two.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
this
that's
isn't
it.
a criminal proceeding
Yeah,
either,
this is
so this is a
administrative.
different standard of where, it's not innocent until proven guilty because this isn't a criminal
Yeah,
proceeding.
so
Just
So
to-
it's-
if you sat through, this is an administrative, we're sitting in as an administrative proceeding, which it's a little more leeway than even a civil proceeding. So this is totally different from criminal. It's not innocent
So
until
it doesn't
proven
matter.
guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
So you don't have to prove if a person's, you don't have to prove guilt because you're guilty until proven innocent in this situation, correct?
No, it's just a different standard.
No,
So
but
this is
basically
not
here
a
is, what
beyond
I
a
understand
reasonable
is
doubt
that you're
standard.
guilty until proven innocent.
Okay.
But go ahead, do your ruling. And I can use, I'm audio taping this. I can use this for future court proceedings if I require, right?
You can appeal anything that happens here today if that's what you're
Perfect.
talking about. Yeah.
Appeal, and I can take it to any other course I can legally do based on what we are indicating here or talking about.
Sure, you can go appeal
Perfect.
to the circuit court. So my ruling is that the proper transfer of liability process was not followed here today. That was on the back of the notice of violation that you got. There is no affidavit that was presented here today. From the original ticket that was issued to, violation, I should say, issued to Rachel Harris, who is your wife, she did follow the proper transfer of liability procedure and signed an affidavit under oath that you were driving and provided evidence that that she was not driving, at least, that she was still at home. You have testified here today that there are no other members of the family living at home, and that it was one of two things: either you were driving, or one of your golfing buddies told you they wanted to drive, but you can't remember whether that was the case. Again, there's no transfer of liability here today. This was a violation, a straight-through violation. Before you were in front of the stop bar when the light turned red, straight through. You did not provide me any of the statutory exceptions. Therefore, I uphold the violation of the $158 fine and $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
Okay, so you're saying is that your court is saying that I was driving, correct? I'm just trying to reword what I understand what you're saying.
I am saying you didn't follow the correct transfer of liability procedure, and therefore it was followed before you, and therefore you are going to be held liable because you didn't follow the correct procedure.
Okay, yeah, you're telling me to follow the procedure of the affidavit. And doesn't the affidavit say, let me see here. Because I can't say, just sign the affidavit and say, yeah, I'm 100% sure one way or the other. But the affidavit says, I can be responsible under, notice that, that I could be liable for falsifying an affidavit. And it's like a $500 years in prison. It's a felony, isn't it? To falsify an affidavit, is that a felony?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. You're the lawyer. I don't know. Is that
I don't think you're supposed to falsify an affidavit.
Well, they're telling me I should go to the chain, do an affidavit and say somebody else is driving, which I can't. So either way, I'm stuck in a rock and a hard place. If I do an affidavit, saying 50-50, the guy was driving, and I was wrong, I'm perjuring myself. And I'm not what do you call it.
Well, let me clarify. Like, what I have in front of me is an affidavit saying you were driving,
Well,
under oath, from your wife.
She said she didn't have the access to the vehicle. She didn't say I was driving. She said he didn't have access to the vehicle.
So I
He
have
had
to
access to
explain
the
to you
vehicle.
what I have in front of me. I have an affidavit that said from your wife
Saying
that said
she was
you
in
were
the vehicle.
driving, I wasn't driving, he was driving.
Did she
and
say
then
I
I'm
was
hearing from
driving?
you, I don't know if I was driving.
Can I intervene here? On this transfer, it says, at the time of violation described in the notice, the vehicle was in the care,
Care
custody,
custody.
Care custody.
or control.
And that's the issue, whether or not you were driving, you were in care, custody, and control of the vehicle, that you've testified to that fact,
Yeah.
that you could have been driving, or someone that was in the car with you was driving, but you were in care, custody, and control of the vehicle, which is why I believe, I guess your wife had transferred that liability.
Yeah, the control of the vehicle, not driving.
Under the evidentiary standard we're here today, that's enough to hold you liable.
Okay, so he's saying, but he said, I didn't follow the procedures of doing an affidavit saying somebody else is driving, so therefore I'm guilty.
What I'm saying is that evidence of the transfer of liability affidavit from your wife is enough to hold you liable, and if you say somebody else was driving, you need to follow the correct procedure.
I'm not sure if 100% of somebody else is driving, so I can't follow that procedure and be truthful with the affidavit if I wasn't 100% sure.
Therefore, you don't have evidence you weren't driving either, right?
So basically you're saying I'm guilty until proven innocent.
This isn't a criminal proceeding. You're confusing two different things. This is an administrative
The
proceeding.
administrative proceeding, there has to be some, okay, if my wife didn't have the video or that lady was in the hospital, you would have charged them and be happy with it. And that's wrong. I mean, there has to be something, like Grady Judge says, do the right thing. And I don't think you guys are doing the right thing. I think you
Okay,
guys
so if you're not happy with it, you can always go to Bartow.
Yeah, you could, I think what you.
But we're done now.
You can appeal whatever ruling here today, as I said, to the circuit court.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we're calling Mrs. Brooks.
You'll get something in the mail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I pay by credit card?
Right now?
No, by the mail.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
you're gonna get something after today.
Do I have to pay Arizona?
And that information needs to
Arizona?
be uploaded, that he provided the
Oh,
evidence.
that's
that
probably
provided
just
needs to be
a
uploaded.
lockbox.
It's already in the
Okay,
system.
okay.
That's where I got it from. It's in,
Wherever it tells you to pay is where you pay. That might be a lockbox.
Tell Arizona that the fax machine doesn't work. I had to send by mail.
I don't think that's affiliated with the, I'm not sure, but I think it's a lockbox.
I couldn't send my, for the hearing request by fax, because the fax machine doesn't work there.
Well, on the back of the ticket, it tells you to mail it in.
Yeah, you have to follow the correct procedure.
No, Sunday, one is part that says you can fax it, you download the file.
Okay, also on the violation, it also gives you a 1-866 number that you can call and speak to someone if you are having trouble communicating.
And what kind, is this I'm not sure, is this a traffic, it's not a traffic court. What kind of court is this? Is this an administrative?
It's an administrative hearing.
Administrative hearing.
Administrative hearing.
Okay, thank you.
next is gonna be Mrs. Brooks. You wanna come on up? You can either have a seat or you can stand. Notice of violation, she has two, so this is gonna be the first one.
Yeah, I noticed that.
The first one, it's 1242200186077. This violation occurred September 1st of 2022 at 5:40 p.m. Violation is going to be on a 2012 Nissan, gray in color, Florida registration of 45 Alpha Echo X-Ray Juliet. That's 45AEXJ, as you see here in the first still photo. As we go to the Second still photo. This is going to be a right-hand turn. And let me point out here, it's raining pretty hard. It's a right-hand turn. This occurred northbound South Florida Avenue at East Beacon Road. The light was yellow for 4.5 seconds, and it was red for an additional 0.3 seconds. Her speed was 19 miles an hour. You can see here she's before the white stop bar. As we go to the third still photo, you can see where she starts to make the right-hand turn, and we'll go to the video. Video clearly shows it's pouring down, raining. She approaches. She does slow down a little bit, but it's raining. She should have come to a stop, but she made the right-hand turn and proceeded around the intersection there. So the reason she got this violation, one, it was raining very hard, and two, approach speed was 19 miles an hour.
And Ms. Brooks, before, do you want to, so how do you want to do this? So we can do it one of two ways. One is you can go ahead and if you want to question the officers, go ahead and do that now, and then if you don't have questions, we can go ahead and watch the second one. That way we can kind of deal with them at once, or we can do it one at a time.
We have to go through each violation separately.
That's fine.
So if that's,
Okay.
So her statement is raining very hard. I don't believe that to be true. The road is wet. I do see that it's wet. But that to me is a little exaggerated. And then also the turn, I did slow down. I had a very clear path to, the other side of the road. So I was able to see that nobody was coming. And then also there are cars that were behind me. So, I made a judgment call to make the turn. I've been driving for over 20 some odd years at this point. I'm a very responsible driver. And I do come from a different state where as long as you slow down and you can proceed.
Is that California?
No, I
Oh,
come
okay.
from Massachusetts.
California, right?
So I'm initially from Massachusetts, and I've been here for, a good couple of years or whatever. So, I just feel like I'm a very responsible driver. I made a judgment call, and I made the turn. I don't have a problem with, you saying, okay, I need to stop. That's fine. I can rectify that going forward. But as far as the ticket, I don't feel like I should have to pay the ticket.
When did you move to Florida?
I've been here for 8 years at this
Okay.
point.
So, yeah, the law is you have to stop, right? But
And
with
that's
red
fine.
light
That's
cameras,
okay.
it's a
That's
little bit
teachable.
different,
That's
right?
fine. It's
It's
teachable.
careful and prudent. But if an officer's sitting there, you have to stop before you turn red, or you will get a ticket no matter whether it's careful and prudent or otherwise.
Officer sitting.
Where,
You said
Officer Scott, where is remind me again how the speed is taken down. Is it a distance, or is there something that's
Yeah, it's time.
like a radar? And where
Yeah,
are the
it's a
two
radar.
distance markers?
This is one of the original cameras, so we have, there's sensors in the road. So there's one right there at the white stop bar, and then about 20 feet back,
20
there's
feet
another,
before the
right.
white stop bar?
So it's like a cone. So it's just like with an officer that's out on the street running a radar, there's a cone.
Yeah.
Once you enter the cone, then it picks your
Yeah.
speed. It's
Yeah.
time over distance, so that's
Can
how
you slow
that's
down that?
operating.
Well, let me watch it full speed one more time.
And I will say this, I looked for the fact that there's no turn on red light. That's what I'm looking for. So I looked for that. I did look for, okay, do I have enough, is anybody coming? If you drive for a long time, you know how to drive, you know, like, you can see, okay, nobody's coming, let me go ahead and, I'm not about to slam on the brakes or the person behind me, so I'm gonna make a judgment call.
Okay, so
Turn.
here's what I'm gonna do, because it looks like you might have been going 19 miles an hour before that, and this is a really close call, from my view anyway. It looks like you continued to slow down beyond the stop bar. It is raining, which doesn't bode well, and, you know, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. It's close, right? So go either way, but I'm going to dismiss this and find that this was careful and prudent, just because the threat of pedestrians is probably lessened because of the rain. And it is raining very, very hard, very, very hard, it looks like in this video. But it did look like you slowed down underneath. 19 would be too fast, but it did look like you continued to slow down beyond the stop bar. So I will dismiss this particular ticket, and then we can move on. So that is 186077 will be dismissed, and then we can go on to the ticket ending in 81, violation ending in 81938.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next one, the violation number is 1242200181938 on Mrs. Brooks. This violation occurred August 27th of 2022 at 9:32 a.m. Violation is on a 2012 Nissan gray in color, Florida registration of 45 Alpha Echo X-ray Juliet 45AEXJ, as you see here in the first still photo. As we go to the second still photo,
Okay.
let me get it pulled up on my computer. I'm not on the same one as he is. This is a straight-through violation. The violation occurred southbound Bartow Road at North Crystal Lake Road. The light was yellow for 4.8 seconds. It was red for an additional 0.6 seconds. The speed limit in this area is 45, and the vehicle was doing 43. And in this still photo, you can see where the car's before the white stop bar. And we'll go to the third still photo, and you can see where it entered the intersection to proceed through, and we'll go to the video. We'll slow it down at quarter speed. So this is at quarter speed. Turns red, and the vehicle proceeds through the intersection.
Okay, Ms. Brooks. Okay, Ms. Brooks, this looks like a straight through. You heard my intro. I don't really have a lot of discretion to.
This one, I think, is my son, to be honest with you. And he's
This
a
one
new-
what?
I think this one was my son driving. He's a new driver. Of course, I was in the car with him, but I think this was him driving at this point. So it's always a fight with him. I'm not even gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. You have to slow down, you know, so these are these teachable moments. You have to slow down. You have to, you know, you can't just go straight through. So I think that was what that one's for.
Okay.
be
Any
honest.
do you want to do a transfer of I'm
No,
sorry, was there
he's-
any transfer of
He
liability?
just turned 18.
Okay.
And really, I was fighting them both because I wanted at least one of them to be dismissed, so the other one, so I don't have a problem paying the 158 for this one, if you can just extend it out, so.
Okay. So the process was, so,
Because I had two.
yeah, so
So-
you only wanted to dispute one?
Yeah, I have two. I was supposed to tell you that I wanted to just cancel the one, or?
I gave you that option before, remember?
No, I told you I was gonna fight.
I said you can either take summary judgment, they'll charge you $12.50 for the admin fee, or it's up to you, you can stay and fight it, and you said, I want to stay and fight it.
Yeah, I know, I said that. So, yeah.
Here's what I'll do. Because you had two. We'll do, the first one was dismissed. The second one is going to be upheld for a $158 fine. I will knock down the administrative fee to $50, okay? Because you didn't really follow the correct procedure.
I'm not gonna transfer it to my son, like, that doesn't.
I understand,
It's
but
too
there was
late.
no transfer of liability affidavit, and there's 2 violations, and we heard the appeal for 2. But I'm not going to charge you for the whole 100. I'll charge you, and I'll give you, we can give you up to 90 days for that $50. So how about I give you 90 days, $50 administrative fee, and I'm going to uphold the violation.
So how much am I have to pay?
And the 90 days is for the 158
$158
ticket plus the $50.
Plus the 50, so it's going to be
the total.
$208.
I'm fine with the 158.
I know, but if you would have let the office, if you would have let us know that you wanted to just simply extend one, you've already been sworn in. There's a $50 cancellation fee. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking this as either a
Y'all just wanna
cancellation
get
fee
some extra
or you
money,
went
that's
forward
what
with
you're
the
telling me.
appeal, and I'm giving you a little bit of a
Okay,
break.
that's fine, so y'all just want the extra $50. That's fine, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Brooks. You'll get something in the mail, and it'll give you the due date, so it'll be 90 days.
Next one's going to be Mr. Parsley.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today?
Hey.
Mr.
Parsley.
Parsley, okay.
Spice.
There we go.
Notice of violation number is 1242200152798. Violation occurred July 17th of 2022 at 9:13 p.m. Violation is on a 2017 Volkswagen black in color, Florida registration of 84 Alpha Foxtrot Uniform Romeo. That's 84 AFUR, as you can see here in the first still photo. As we go to the second still photo, this is going to be a right-hand turn violation. This occurred northbound on North Florida Avenue at Memorial Boulevard. The light was yellow for 4.5 seconds, and it was red for an additional 3.8 seconds. The speed limit in this particular area is 40 miles an hour, and his approach speed was 20. As you can see here in this still photo, he's before the white stop bar and the light is red. As we go to the third still photo, you can see where he is rounding the right-hand turn to proceed through the intersection, and we'll go to the video. Yellow turns red, he's not even in camera view. Proceeds around the curve. I mean, he does hit his brakes there for a little bit, but his approach speed was 20. He had plenty enough time to stop. It was red for 3.8 seconds. There was no reason he couldn't have come to a stop. And this is North Florida Memorial. I know it's 9 something at night, 9:13 p.m. We do have a lot of traffic, foot traffic in this area. We do have all the homeless shelters in that area. This is a busy, busy intersection.
Okay, Mr. Parsley, the reason this camera is at this particular intersection especially is just because it's a really, really dangerous intersection. There's a lot of incidents, there's a lot of wrecks, but I'll let you go ahead and proceed. And you you probably are an expert on the format by the sitting through all this. So you can ask the officers questions if you want to, or you could just go ahead and proceed with argument or presenting evidence.
Okay. All right, so I do have quick questions. I know you're the deputy city attorney. I'm not quite sure what your title is. No offense, I just want to know.
It's okay. Yeah, no offense taken. I'm an attorney and I sit as a hearing officer at the red light hearings as sort of an independent third party.
Got you. Okay. All right. Cool. So, do you know? Would you be able to tell me if that was a Saturday or Sunday? I feel like that was probably a Sunday night.
See, I can tell you pretty quick. Looks like a Monday morning, or actually, the August 22nd is a Monday.
No, it was July 17th.
Oh, July 17th. Sunday.
Okay. So that automatically tells me. So I live on the north side. I used to work on the south side, so I drive past this intersection on a regular basis. I make this turn. I used to make this turn every day. I no longer work there, but I still come over this side every Sunday for a weekly D&D game with my friends. So
A weekly what?
D&D game. I'm a nerd.
What kind of game?
D&D.
D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, like a video game. Okay.
Board game kind of thing, but
Okay, yeah.
So I come over here every Sunday for that weekly game, so I'm familiar with this intersection. I know around this time, because I'm passing around this time every single week, what to expect. So I know when you get to this light, the other light's about to change. If you want to make the turn in time, you have to actually slow down, look around real quick to make sure that there's no other cars coming, which I did. There were no other cars coming when I made the turn. So I wasn't really worried about there being pedestrians because I'm familiar with this time frame. I'm familiar with this intersection, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Anything else? I just want to make sure you're finished before.
Yeah, I mean, give me a little bit of leeway. This was 3 days after my birthday. This
You're not
was
the first one to
after
ask
my
for that.
birthday, guys. I was feeling good that week, and this is 3 days.
And it looks like it's pretty clear. No pedestrians that I can see. And your argument is well taken that, hey, I do this at this time every week, and I'm familiar with this intersection, and I'm familiar with the traffic light pattern. You are going a little fast on the approach, as I
That's fair.
spoke to about, I think it was Miss Brooks. But let me watch it one more time. It does look like you continued to brake beyond the stop bar, which you did. So I'm
Barely
sure it
past the
was.
stop bar.
So
And
I'm
if he's
sure-
familiar with this area, then he should know he nees to stop.
Yeah, so,
It's a
well,
red light there every time he comes through.
so the way this works is if an officer's sitting there and you didn't stop, you get a ticket, no matter what. Careful, prudent, California stop, doesn't matter. Under the red light program, you're given a little more leeway. This is another really close case, and you need to make a better effort probably to slow down next time. I understand your testimony, but I'm going to dismiss it this time.
Thank you.
Because it is a close case. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. It looks like you're probably still a little hot even beyond the stop bar, but I think it's significant, it's going to be less than that 20 approach because I see your brake lights continue all the way through. Don't try to beat the traffic on the other side, okay? And I'm not saying that's what you were doing, but I'm saying, just looking at this, it was only a few seconds before the traffic starts coming from the other side. I understand you say, hey, I know the light pattern. Be just a little more careful next time, okay? Especially at this particular intersection. This particular intersection is especially dangerous.
I have to drive
Just for
past
your own
this
safety and the
intersection.
safety of others.
I have to drive past this intersection on my way back home now, so yes,
Yeah,
I will.
okay.
I will 100% be more
All
careful.
right, so I'm going to dismiss it, no further obligation, and be more careful, especially at this intersection, okay?
Thank you very much.
Because if there's an officer sitting there, you're gonna get a ticket.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have a wonderful day.
Okay.
I think I have 2 on the list remaining.
Who is this?
No, that's Commissioner Reed.
Oh, I don't-
He doesn't, I don't think he has a violation. He's not on the list.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
We should just have one left.
One was summary disposition. We have John Pierce and Antonio Williams.
Yep.
Was one a summary? Because I didn't hear
Yes.
what the gentleman's name was. Which one?
John Pierce did the summary disposition, so that leaves Antonio Williams.
Okay.
Wait, you know what? We have what about the Williams?
That's who we're talking
That's
about.
what we're talking
That's the
about.
one that we still have
Oh,
left.
he did a summary judgment?
No,
No,
no, we did a summary disposition for Mr. Pierce.
right.
So
We have
Williams-
one case to call.
No
Okay.
show. Williams is a no-show. I have, that was the
That
one
was-
that, she was in the hospital.
Yeah, that was when it
She was
continued.
continued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a Chad Mills.
Yeah.
That
He
looks like
paid.
he paid, so he shouldn't have been on the list. Okay. So we only have Antonio Williams left to hear.
I gotta get signed back in. Okay. This violation number is 1242200167499 on Mr. Williams. This violation occurred August 8th of 2022 at 5:46 p.m. Violation's going to be on a 2004 Toyota white in color with a Florida registration of Uniform Yankee November 4 Charlie. That's UYN4C, as you see here in the first still photo. As we go to the second still photo, this is going to be a right-hand turn. Violation occurred eastbound on East Memorial Boulevard at North Massachusetts Avenue. The light was yellow for 4.1 seconds. It was red for an additional 15.4 seconds. The speed limit in this area is 35 and the vehicle speed was 18. As you can see here in the second still photo, the vehicle's before the white stop bar, and then the third, it is proceeding around the corner to make the right-hand turn, and we'll go to the video. Light's red, it's been red. They make the right-hand turn and just proceed on through it. Play it again. Doesn't look like they slowed down any.
Yeah, well, with no one here to argue it, especially, this was a right-hand turn on red. It's hard to see brake lights at all, right here. And it looks like before the stop bar, they started accelerating through the intersection, uphold the violation, $158 fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
And that's the last one.
So at this point, we're going through the summaries. Following violations, the violators have elected summary disposition, which will result in the statutory fine of $158 plus a $12.50 administrative fee and they will have 60 days to pay. 72184, Aaron Andrea. 62649, Barnum Angela. 71855, Beeman Sandra. 64090, Blandford Brooklyn. 79130, Booker Paula. She's got another one, Booker Paula. 175690. 90335, Bose Lisa. 84650, Bramble Joanne. 64496, Britt Shelby. 78249, Broughton Jacory. 71715, Browder Savannah. 54984, Cheerson Kinsey. 71319, Coleman Santrese. 68000, Cruz Regina. 67697, Dorch David. 57672, Douglas Kelly. 60247, Dupree Dimitri. 62458, Eldridge Chucky. 77126, Gary Tanya. 66285, Graham Ebony. 70949, Gramling Sierra. 150792, Hancock Deborah. 93297, Harrington Lucille. 88644, Jackson Horace. 63712, Jeffries Ernestine. 78231, Jenkins Keith. 68539, Kearse Samantha. 73919, Lawrence Connie. 73661, Lightsey Philip. 75237, Lot Tashara. 71939, McGowan Shakira. And then Chad Mills paid. 164165, Morris Kimberly. 195128, Nash Catherine. 167143, Perez Gabriel. 146964, Peter Crystal. 127626, Pierce John. 78645, Poe Stephen. 68455, Powell Dwight. 46519, Ramey Roy. 162177, Ramirez Jasmine. 169933, Randall Marlene. 64959, Regalado Brandon. 173471, Rotuno Deborah. 175310, Sporer Chelsea. 171632, Swartz Kenneth. 172630, Wesley Janquita. 167739, West Leander. 170014, Young Kelvin.
Call it.
Conclude the hearing, yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
I guess that's the most important part, right?